And this is the first Friday for the full trading week in the month of April. Welcome, everyone. This is your Frontier Opening Bell, the 8th of April. Thank you, everyone. I am Bosi number 5. This is your market for Thursday. Surprise? Not really. A whole lot of concerns around the world, from United States inflation data, the U.S. Central Bank unpacking its balance sheet, trillions of dollars. The whole concern around the Ukraine, the energy crisis in Europe is all coming down to the equities market. So a bit of negative sentiments around risky assets, and Frontier Africa shared part of that on Thursday. The Nigerian board, the BRVM, the EGX, the NSE, which is in Nairobi, and of course, the biggest exchange on the continent, the GSE, fell on Thursday. Well, it's Dangote, it's Friday, so let's see what's in the news box this morning to start your weekend for you as we kick on. Let's start, as usual, with East Africa, where Kenya's economy is expected to grow 6% this year on the back of agriculture and industrial goods recovery. In the meantime, Safaricom says if it gets approval from the Central Bank of Kenya, it will spin off M-Pesa as a financial services subsidiary or standalone organization and allow Safaricom itself, the parent company, to remain the biggest telco east of the continent. Safaricom is looking at some of its big competitors in the industry, such as Airtel Africa and MTN, which is looking to separate its fintech business from the telecommunications business. Of course, MTN Group in South Africa has tapped JP Morgan to help it achieve that. In the meantime, leapfrogging sold 30% of a Good Life Pharmacy stake to CFAO Healthcare. That's within the East African market, while Tanzania Competition Commission has given approval to Twiga acquisition of Simba Cement. And finally, Ethiopia and the International Finance Corporation, which is the private sector lending arm of the World Bank, are discussing a future cooperation for private sector investment in the Horn of Africa's largest economy, and that is Ethiopia. Take it down. Let me just take you quickly through the West African market space. What's the biggest news is the SEC in Nigeria now focusing on cyber security risk strategy as a new way of looking at the market, considering the implosion in digital technology and fintech footprints across the Nigeria space. The whole ecosystem that's now become digital, from trading, clearing, settlement, payments, and everything in between, and cryptocurrency as well. The first Capital Markets Committee meeting of the year 2022 held on Wednesday. The press statement was released on Thursday, saying that the SEC has asked all market operators to step up in terms of firewalls and cybersecurity across every segment of the market ecosystem. The new NCM roadmap, which is Nigeria's capital market roadmap, actually the first one is about 10 years old next year. Now that is being reviewed by the SEC, and a new version, a revised version, which will incorporate fintech and digital economy and all those ecosystem, will now be part of the new NCM roadmap, which will be formally launched later this year. We'll keep an eye on that, by the way. And the new Dangote fertilizer has entered the Ghana market to boost supply of fertilizer in one of West Africa's largest economy. And Ghana's central bank has moved against the dollarization of the country's economy. Every services should now be paid for in Ghanaian currency, the cedi, and no longer in the US dollar. Ghana is looking to reflate the cedi, tame inflation, and ensure adequate foreign currency supply within the economy. In the meantime, the Bank of Africa, Cote d'Ivoire, which is listed on the BRVM, says about 7.48 billion CFA franc is the gross dividend to be paid to shareholders for the full year 2021. Bank of Africa has very strong footprint in West Africa, French-speaking countries, including North Africa and the Sahel region. And finally, the BICICI says it's doubled its full year 2021 profit by 105%. The headline figure is roughly 10 billion CFA franc. You've been briefed. Let me brief you about the Southern African Top headlines, stories. Absa Group CEO Nilele was retired last year from the company. Now news are coming out that Absa Group paid him, the former CEO, about 30.4 million rand, which is now called a fraud separation. That is now being queried. And that is grabbing the news overnight. South Africa food retailer Pick n Pay says is a 5.2% uptick in record sales for 2021 despite the pandemic. And as South Africa begins to reduce the level of the lockdown around the virus pandemic, Pick n Pay begin to make business. And that is likely to be some good news as well, because a news story says the Easter holidays period starting next week will be great for South Africa's retailers, from Massmart to ShopRite and every other, Woolworth and others, because South Africans are savoring the relaxation in those restrictions around the virus pandemic. But let's see how the numbers will come out at the end of the Easter holiday season. Zimbabwe, by the way, reported a trade deficit that went sharply down 51% to just about $88 million in the month of January, while Namibia is reporting trade deficit for the month of February at about 3.9 billion Namibian dollars. All right. Let's sum it up in Egypt. Of course, you know, Friday is the start of the weekend, and we'll get into that season, by the way. But Egypt is getting 100 million euros from the EU to support the country's food supply. Egypt is Africa's largest wheat importer from Russia, and now the global food prices are climbing because between Russia and Ukraine, the two countries currently at war, they produce a big chunk, about 30% of the global grain. That is a major concern. So the EU is giving Egypt about $100 million support to keep its food supply at pace. Egypt says it's printing and packaging exports up about 65% to about $198 million in the first 2 months of the year. That's January and February. And Morocco says it sees a continuous price increase in food and basic exports moving forward. No thanks to the Russia's war in Ukraine and the impact of what is going on. Now, news coming through says Poland is looking to a dry cargo port around Ukraine, certain part of Ukraine, to ensure that those grains and food that are stuck in Ukraine could exit the country via this cargo airport and then to the rest of the world. And Tunisia, it says its diaspora remittances climbed 17% to about 1.73 billion dinars in the first quarter of the year, January to the end of March. You've been briefed. That's your Frontier opening bell this Friday. Enjoy it, everyone, and I'll see you at the other side of the weekend. You can watch the show again on our Frontier Africa Reports YouTube. You can subscribe. It is free. Go on our website, frontierafricareports.com. And of course, on social media, follow us on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, as well as Facebook. I'll see you later, everyone. Bye for now.